The last few days, I keep getting a lot of channeling around love and what is unconditional love from the universe's perspective. Because human love and universal unconditional love are two vastly different things. Human love, we have emotional attachments, we have parameters, we have boundaries, there are restrictions on that love, and there are many different levels and layers to even what love is and what that means for each individual soul. And the paradox of love is love and war are two sides of the same coin. So they're just different expressions of the same frequency or same note. One is just dialed up with like the volume full on, and the other one, if you visualize it as the volume turned all the way down. And they're just harmonic expressions of the same frequency. Love in its highest expression, or let's just say the volume turned all the way up, can actually be distorted as well. That could probably be considered Luciferian in a way, because love in that state of being constantly open and expansive and without boundaries also can lead to imbalance. And that's sort of, I guess, where a lot of people are awakening to the fact that the whole love and light community or concept is quite false in a way, because you can't truly have love unless you can understand, see, and know and acknowledge the shadow side of love. The distorted side of love, if it was the volume turned all the way down, would be total darkness. That would be war. That would be a contractive energy. That would represent instability, divided, possessive, controlling. Where the harmonic state is expansive, it invites growth. It's grounded and it's safe. It holds space and it unites. And then there are different emotional expressions even within that. Somewhere in the middle would be limerence. And as you go down towards the volume turned down side of love is apathy to hate and different distortions of disrespect. And when we turn it up, we start to get into sort of notes of kindness, compassion, understanding. And even within then, there are still more nuances to love, because the way that we can love our pets versus our children versus our spouse versus love and admiring nature, all are different expressions of love. When I think back to sort of historical archetypes and deities, think people like Aphrodite or Diana or Freya, every one of those archetypes that were the symbol of love were also paradoxically the symbol of war. So I find that interesting. And on a side note to that, just a thought worth considering, what if there was a distortion of those frequencies being transmitted through tech, kind of like the Havana syndrome, that would be broadcasting the distortion of love, which would be war? Now, unconditional love, from the perspective of the universe, has no emotional attachment. Everything just is. It's just about balance. It's an observation. There's no judgment placed upon whether something is good or bad or right or wrong. That is the human mind conceptualizing and rationalizing their world around them. Let's look at unconditional love, maybe from the perspective of Mother Earth. as a living conscious being. When you're tuned in to the frequency, her radio station of Mother Earth, you can communicate directly to her and all sentient living beings. So I don't think it's a matter of debate whether the Earth is a conscious being or not. It's just a matter of us becoming attuned to that frequency. She is an aware entity, and she is entirely aware of the entire ecosystem. Yet she holds no judgment for the lion eating the gazelle. She doesn't hold judgment for suffering, pain, birth, healing, or death. It simply is the function of each and every species and organisms. If there is an imbalance within nature, she is self-correcting, and she is aware that she is part of an even larger system of universal consciousness. If we have to sort of stop putting maybe limits on what even the universe is, because our minds can't grasp that. We can't grasp infinity. It's too large of a concept. But from the universal consciousness and everything working together perspective, it's about honoring and respecting and having a neutrality to the workings of the mechanisms and the mechanics of an even larger universal system, that everything works and has a working order and has a place and a system and a reason. There is nothing that is imperfect, really. It's our judgment upon things is where we place that judgment and label things. But that's also part of the experience of being human, is exploring and learning and understanding boundaries and understanding the shadow and the light and understanding where center is. And we can start to see it when and understand it more when we look at things from the perspective of there is always two sides to everything. There's a neutrality middle, which would be the perspective of the universe, and then we get to express all of the emotions and feel all the sensations through ourselves incarnated in a human form, which is really quite incredible in a way. And I really do feel that that is how the divine source really does get to experience and really understand every intricate part of itself is through each and every one of us. So yeah, this was just my little quick blurb on what the difference between universal consciousness love and human love is. And when I state things like unconditional love, I'm viewing it solely from the perspective of complete emotional detachment and neutrality, and understanding the laws of the jungle and understanding the laws that work within the animal kingdom also apply to humans when they're working in their shadow side or their light side as well. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope everyone is having a fantastic day, and take care of yourself, each other, and the earth.